something. These January 12, 1939. LOSANGELESCALIFOR. Beloved ones of the light, if you will notice I am not saying children tonight, because you are grown to full stature in your application. You are my beloved ones of the light in the victory of your application. Will you allow me to urge you to accept that in its fullness tonight, so you may have forever hereafter, the full victory in your application and all required in sustained activity to fulfill your every heart's desire? I find it impossible to add to that which has already been given. Before I start in with that which I shall say tonight, I wish to remind you that because of the charged atmosphere, I shall do certain work over America through this outpouring. That is why I mention it. The report has gone forth in so many places that the messengers are rolling in many millions and all that kind of thing. Just let me tell you something. These beloved messengers who could have put aside a goodly amount for a rainy day, have not done so. They have given thousands and thousands and thousands of $217 to the expansion of this work, besides their own mighty service, ceaseless in its mighty activity for 5 years. Therefore, beloved ones, when such reports attempt to find action, just annihilate them on the spot. The responsibility is upon mankind now to carry on this I am activity. Remember, since K-17 talked to you in the shrine class, many wonderful things have been done in the invisible in your city. Therefore, will you take your stand as I am students of Los Angeles and put down every discordant thing which attempts to find action concerning this I am activity? Whether it requires physical action or whatever is necessary, put it down, for in this coming 6 months, certain things must be accomplished. If you will take that stand toward all vicious activity, it will be accomplished, I assure you, because this thing is coming to an end and K-17 will give you all the assistance you require. Therefore, in prefacing my remarks to you, I want you to feel this definitely, because of these most unkind things which vicious individuals try to start. It is time it all stops now. They have been given plenty of opportunity, so we will see that it is stopped, and of course you are our strong right arm. Tonight, in releasing the power for your blessing, will you kindly accept this, and remember, we never refer to these things unkindly, but for the sake of humanity, for whom this work is being given forth, all mankind should take their definite stand to silence all discord toward this I am activity. If humanity does not want it, well, we cannot force it upon them, but since everything we have intimated to you is being fulfilled with tremendous speed and power, then all the I am students should really awaken to this fully. I call your attention again tonight to the fact which stands before you, of how quickly when your attention was drawn to a thing, your call was fulfilled. In the newspaper article which has gone forth with unveiled mysteries, the light is reaching largely the number of people which we said would be reached, and that the attention would be drawn to this I am activity, and that many would be reached this year. It has already been done in the first few days. Will you notice that, and will you accept it as the answer to your own speed of application? You have seen the messengers require hours and days of application to accomplish a given point of action, yet today they can do it in one mighty I am decree. So can you all do the same thing, and that is the reason I am calling your attention to these things tonight, because I am going to charge into action for you, this intensified energy and power of your own application. If you just knew fully what the acceptance of these qualities or actions which we offer would do in your world, you would go right straight forth from this room absolute master of the situation. You are coming to it rapidly, I am grateful to say, so we can afford to be very patient until you gain full mastery and victory, which will come through your own application. In observing some individuals who really have made very powerful application and have not had the results they want, do you not see why they have not? I am trying to help you so earnestly tonight, to overcome and dismiss the feeling of your application not having yet produced the results. If you will analyze your feelings, you will see in every case where the answer has not come immediately, that there was questioning in your feeling as to whether it was going to come, or when it was going to come, or would it do it now. If you will analyze this, you will find I am very accurate. If once you understand, beloved ones, that the radiation about you holds your full record, you will know why we are not concerned in the slightest with what you might say concerning your activity, because your feeling world holds the correct record of it. That is why I say you could not tell me you did not do this or that, for it is there in your record, and that is the thing you must understand, precious people. The record is in your feeling world. We see it and read it as an open book. Therefore, if you say to me, and you might be wholly sincere, that I said you had a certain action in your feeling and you say, "Oh, no I did not," of course intellectually you might think you did not, but it was there. That is why if you precious ones will allow us to give you assistance through our promptings, you will come into your dynamic, successful application with a power which will absolutely astonish you, because the power of our light is there. It is sufficient. Your call is what is required with firm motive in your feelings to have the result. That is why if you precious ones will allow us to give you assistance through our promptings, you will come into your dynamic, successful application with a power which will absolutely astonish you, because the power of our light is there. It is sufficient. Your call is what is required with firm motive in your feelings to have the result. Therefore, as I am charging this forth into your feeling world for action tonight, I am determined that it is going to act, and you beloved ones are going to have the full power and response to your call. Do watch out, please, when you have made an earnest, dynamic call, do not let your feeling or intellect question the result. If you do, you are annulling it. Your precious lotus made a dynamic point for you tonight. There are rare occasions where you have individuals come right to your door in answer to your call. But the law of your physical octave is that you must perform some physical action in response to your call to the I Am Presence. I mean by that, you must be ready to be prompted and ready to perform any physical service which might be required to have your call fulfilled more quickly. If you should have your call answered direct, your readiness for physical action would not prevent it, but if your life stream required certain physical action in connection with your call to the I Am Presence, and you did not perform that physical action, or you believed you did not have to, which would prevent you having the prompting, then you would not have fulfilled the service required and your answer would not come. So, I am calling your attention to it. The messengers have taken up this explanation and called your attention to these things, because they are vital. Now with us, we are not in the human octave, and we are in a substance which vibrates so much more rapidly than the substance which is here, that we of course have instantaneous action always. But you need not be an ascended being to have instantaneous action and answer to your calls in your octave, because you are the law of acceptance of your I Am Presence. Of course, if you will act harmoniously to the divine law, you will act harmoniously to the physical laws which are divine and just, but you will also see where the action in the outer law is not correct. Then you will call the powers of light and the great ones into action to correct the wrong. Now please do understand that in whatever condition needs a dusting, if you will keep calling the I Am Presence, to project these mighty light rays of blue, lightning or whatever is required, into the condition to harmonize everything and bring divine order and divine justice, or to regulate the release of the supply you require, the Presence absolutely goes into action right then and there. And if you will accept it as you continue your application from time to time, you will have amazing results. I say to you again, beloved ones, you are making the gravest mistake when you do not follow that group outline. When the human takes the bit in its teeth and runs away and exercises its own human qualities, you will not have the results. The groups where they have not followed the outline closely, just dwindle away. They should be able to see that, but sometimes they don't seem to. When the great ones ask some slight obedience, my dear ones, it is not to interfere with your free will. You will have plenty of time to exercise that, don't worry, for the need today of your freedom and our assistance for America is imperative, and if you wish speedy results, do give obedience to the little they ask. When the divine director asked you to follow that outline, he knew well and had a definite reason why you should. Because then you will be using the Ascended Master's radiance, words, and power, which will bring you so much more quickly the results you require. Therefore, won't you beloved ones just give whole-hearted obedience to the little we ask, so you may have your freedom more quickly? You are at such an almighty point at this time, that I am taking this opportunity to remind you of these things, because you can be free so quickly if you will do them. What does it matter about your human desires, if they are preventing your being free or preventing the instantaneous answers to your calls? Well then, you don't want your human desires gratified, do you? This is just the reason why many do not have the results they desire, because they are going clear away from our instruction and forgetting the requests of the Great Ones, which would give them their happiness, freedom, and supply. That is why in starting out, I asked you to put down every discordant, vicious report concerning this I am activity. Don't you see, if you don't take your stand as I am students, that viciousness just goes on and on interfering with individuals here and there, and it is not right. Every sincere individual knows those things are not true, but now you have come to the point where you must all take your stand against that kind of thing, and silence instantly all vicious falsehood or gossip which tries to start. Let me say to you, beloved ones, for I am talking right straight to your hearts tonight, so don't love me any the less for it. Who is there among the student body who is so perfect that he or she can afford to criticize another? If there is anyone in the audience who is that perfect, please stand up. Thank you very kindly. You see, if all humanity were perfect, or ever were, of course the earth could not hold them here. You see, that is the great proof. Therefore, you cannot afford to fill your thoughts and feelings with qualities which make you like the qualities and conditions you criticize or condemn. Oh, my dear ones, let us put it from another angle. Do you not see, for the messengers have said this so many times, but I think it is well worth repeating, when your attention is upon a discordant quality, whether it is in an individual, a condition, your government, your city, or whatever it is, if you allow your minds and feelings to revolve on that point, you will charge that quality into your own feeling world, and it has to outpicture as sure as you are born. You cannot prevent it, my dear ones. Therefore, you cannot afford to do it. Now suppose there are a lot of things which need correcting. Remember, in the correction of all conditions, just pour forth the mighty power of the light rays into them, but do not be discordant and do not feel angry, critical, or condemnatory to individuals who may be lending themselves to wrong activity. You pile more upon them of that from which you are calling to be free. For instance, let us take this illustration for the moment, the politicians in your city and country. Well, a lot of them are wholly destructive, there is no use mincing words about that. But if you are angry, critical, or condemnatory because they do things which create injustice, well, you are just frustrating your mighty call for the correction of the whole thing. Your feeling must go forth in order to do this, and don't you see, if it goes forth with a kindly feeling, it releases the full power of the light in its purity and perfection to go forth with its almighty power to render the service. Now mark you, here is a thing which has never been touched upon, but I am going to do it tonight for the great need of your more immediate freedom. Suppose you are calling a light ray forth from your I am presence, that does not touch you, does it? However, suppose at the same time, a very intense feeling is going forth from you, of condemnation or whatever it might be concerning that condition. Do you know your very intense feeling will go out, and as these separate feelings go forth, they will meet somewhere before they reach that individual because they are both focused upon the same point, and they have to come together before they reach their destination. Now that is how a lot of discord and repellent activities have been released by the feelings of individuals, when their call would have brought the immediate answer otherwise. Now notice that. Your light ray goes forth from the I am presence, your feeling goes forth here. But somewhere before they meet their objective, they must come together, because they were both called into action by you. Do you see that? It is tremendous. That is why you cannot afford, in your great desire for the full power of response to your application, to let human qualities act. Of course the human has always felt justified in doing such things, but you cannot do it. It will just keep retarding you, until finally you will get all discouraged. Don't misunderstand what the great ones have said, for I notice there is some of that. When they have intimated to you that certain activities could take place within a certain number of months, those activities would have taken place if the harmony had been sufficient in your feelings, and if it was not, don't you say the great ones were mistaken. So tonight, let us get at the cause of these things and analyze our feelings and correct them, so you may go forth now in full victory. With all the others have given you and that which I so joyously pour forth in action into your feeling world tonight, I want you to see this clearly, because you do understand, I am sure, that each one of us performs a definite service. For instance, you take the divine director and myself, that which he does and that which I do are wholly different in their action. In your need today, the consciousness, the full power of the feeling of victory in your application, is the most important thing. Therefore, as you allow me to charge my power and full feeling of victory into your application, and as that goes forth and widens its activity into your complete achievement, you will find much greater and quicker results, and that is what we want you to have. For we want you to be so free from some of these conditions which have been disturbing you, so when the messengers come back in July, you will be absolutely ready for all we expect to release at that time. You see, from the octave of light, from the Ascended Master's octave, these things are planned as a general idea of that which can be done and will be done if conditions are complied with. That is why we can tell definitely, if sufficient harmony is maintained in the feelings, when and how to do these things and give you the full confidence in your own application. Really, in the magnificent letters through which you have heard of these achievements, think of it, beloved ones, you have only heard of just a few of the many who have had similar achievements. Therefore, we want you to feel the full power of its mighty activity. Do not feel, beloved ones, that I am criticizing you in any way. I am just drawing your attention to these great magnificent laws and how you can fully cooperate with them and have the quick, joyful, magnificent blessing for which you are calling. I love you more than you love yourselves, and therefore, these things must be understood so you may have the full joy and blessing of all I give. Please do not ever say, oh, why doesn't it act? Simply say, very well, if you have not acted yet, well, you are going to right now, then you will put more steam on, as Lotus says, and get your results, but the moment you acknowledge that a thing is not acting as you would like it, or it has not been accomplished yet, you are just throwing, perhaps I should not use that expression, you will think I am undignified, but I do know something about machinery. You would just be throwing a monkey wrench in the machinery, and if you broke some of the cogs off of your gears, the gears might not shift readily. Then, you see, difficulty would ensue. Therefore, beloved ones, feel how joyous we are to prompt you when the opportunity affords, and not only that, but at the same time give you the strength, courage, and energy to surmount your problems and stop those things. That is what we want to do. What do the mistakes matter, so long as you are determined to rise out of them and conquer them? No one is condemned for making a mistake, but he would be condemned if he did not try to correct it and get out of it. I mean, he would condemn himself. Therefore, beloved ones, try to feel our joy and enthusiasm, our power and strength which we are endeavoring to charge into your world with our infinite power of action to give you our strength, our dominion, our courage. Beloved ones, there is not one thing can stand before you as you call that mighty, I am, power forth into action. Just get that strength and determination in your feelings and let me anchor it there. Oh, my dear ones, in all this great power of divine love and gratitude which you release, I say, you can sweep everything aside. It is the dominion of the earth. We have not felt it wise, or Saint Germain has not, to bring much of this to your attention, but I tell you the achievement is very great. In the world of crime, and the lessening of that activity or dominion, through these mighty, I am, decrees which have gone forth into the world of racketeers and such conditions, you will see, if you have taken notice, how much less they are acting even in 1 year, I tell you. I congratulate the moving picture people who have brought forth so many moving pictures where the general evidence is that crime does not pay. There are several magnificent films out, showing this, and showing how the courage of the people is arising as one man with great determination, and as it fires others into action to put down wrong, it has succeeded in a comparatively short time. That is why I say to you, it is the law absolutely. That is why I say, if the I am students over America will be determined to put down all vicious reports against this I am activity, it will go down almost overnight, and it is so with every condition in your America today. When the feeling of the people arises with the determination that a thing shall cease, it will cease. Dear people, your determination is the outer action of the inner will of your mighty I am presence of life. please do not forget that, precious ones, for an hour. Then, when anyone says to you, I am determined. My dear ones, you have no idea what that does over America. I want to say to you, beloved ones, you have no idea, unless you saw from our standpoint, how in your contemplation groups the strength, the energy, and power have gone forth. And how much it has done in the maintaining of harmony in those classes. Now, beloved ones, let me use that again as an illustration to show you the power of your attention. My dear ones, as we have been calling your attention to these things, in your I am contemplation groups and otherwise in this activity, it stirs a great determination in you, and after all, is that not what is needed today? Is it not a great determination you need all the time in meeting conditions which arise before you? I like our beloved Lotus statement she made within a couple days. She did not know I was listening, but I happened to hear it, and many of you are feeling the same thing. These conditions which constantly appear before you, are just a joyous opportunity to turn on more steam and lick them. That really is the truth. Beloved ones, if you look upon every experience which suddenly confronts you as an opportunity to apply the law with greater power, don't you see, it is taking you onto your victory with greater and greater speed, and sometimes the hotter it gets, the sooner you arrive. It really is true, I mean from our standpoint, for whatever compels you to make more and more dynamic application, will enable you to arrive more quickly. I urge you again tonight, my dear ones, please do not keep up your decrees too long. If you begin to feel tired or exhausted, just stop and take up your decrees again later. If you allow yourselves to become exhausted by not realizing it, you will carry some of your physical energy into the release of these mighty, I am, decrees. Then if you continue too long, it would be a mistake, because you make yourselves tired, which makes you negative. For instance, take several hours of continuous decrees, and unless the whole body of students who were doing it rested every 30 minutes, or say maybe 45, it would not be wise. You can do more in your group in 1/2 hour of dynamic decrees than you can in an hour and a half, if within the hour you begin to get a little weary. It is not the matter of repetition so much as it is the power of your feeling released each time you give them. The messengers are the example of that. When they used to have to apply for hours and sometimes days for a given result, now today they can produce the same thing in one mighty, I am, decree, and they do it thousands of times. You see then, it is not in the matter of repetition in the decrees, but the power of the energy you put into them. You see that? Really, it is a magnificent thing. I quite understand that these things come about with a great intense desire to release more power and energy for the great ones to use to accomplish these things. Just look how magnificent, precious people, has been the achievement in this past year. No such thing as this was ever known before in the history of this earth. Really, many of the things which are being done have never before touched on this earth, for instance, the dissolving of the psychic substance in the atmosphere over America, and also the war entity of Europe. Such a thing was never done before in the history of the earth. Therefore, because it is vast in its activity, please do not feel that you are not doing a magnificent, wonderful thing, because you are. Really, it would be so wonderful if you could just feel in an emergency, for instance in a financial requirement, the very first thing you feel is, oh my, I need more of that I am presence, that is what is the matter. You see, it would be glorious if you could just do that. The first thing, remind yourselves, oh my goodness, what I need is more of the TAM presence right now. Then as you made your calls, you would be amazed at the result, because you must school yourselves, beloved ones, to know that in all emergencies and conditions, it is more of the I am presence you need. That includes your financial supply, your strength, your courage, your energy, and the outpouring of divine love which keeps everything harmonious, which lets the power of life do its perfect work without interruption. So tonight, I thank you very much for this release which is going out. Oh, just accept it with all the glory of your hearts. To show how you cannot depend upon appearances, let me tell you something. A few minutes ago, it did not look like the release I was requiring was going to come at all, and I said, that appearance is not true. It cannot be, and now the release comes. See how you cannot afford to accept that discordant appearances are real. Had I accepted that appearance, after I released certain powers and there was not the immediate response, I would not have been able to render the service tonight, but when I said to that appearance, it is not true, then came the release. Oh, so often, beloved ones, if you only say to those appearances which are less than perfection, which seem limiting, you just run along. You cannot scare me. You have no power, then you will stop all acceptance of these appearances in your world. Oh, my dear ones, could you see from our standpoint how much of that goes on in defiance to you, you would realize what it means to you. Oh, often during the day, even if there were no apparent reason for it, at least once an hour, and if you cannot speak it out, then for a moment silently say, oh, you appearance world, you have no power to touch me. Gain that mighty momentum, beloved ones, so it keeps the discordant action of the appearance world repelled from you and your world. That is how you can stand as the supreme power in your own individual world, release your service to the light, and use all the power which you wish to release. Therefore, tonight I am so grateful to you, that your feeling has been able to release this which I required. I say to you, beloved ones, you cannot yet imagine our love and gratitude to you when we see you making that earnest call, and standing by it for your freedom and for your release. Oh, my dear ones, when that is what life has been asking for, waiting for, all these many, many, many hundreds and thousands of centuries, you cannot realize a fragment of the joy which we experience in seeing you take hold with that determination, and give the obedience which is your freedom. Oh, our joy and happiness is so great, because we want you with us, we want you to come home where you belong. You object earnestly, do you not, if one of your children runs away from home, and you cannot find that one for a few days, you become much alarmed. Well, since you all ran away from home so long ago, now isn't it encouraging when we see you coming home? The glorious thing about it is, you don't have to worry about transportation, that is one time you don't have to pay car fare. It is delightful. After all, there are a great many things in this world for which you do not have to pay anything. You are discovering that. Oh, that glorious, glorious call, beloved ones, mighty I am presence, give that to the beloved ones as a glad free gift of love. Oh, what a magnificent thing, how many thousands have experienced it, and it is only the beginning. You have heard your beloved Lotus say to you so many times in making that mighty call, mighty I am presence, give it to them as a glad free gift of love. Once an hour, that call goes forth from that precious child for every one of you. It is a wonderful thing. Thank you so much, beloved ones. Beloved ones, I cannot seem to refrain from saying just a word about the beloved staff, the messengers, the tremendous service which they render. You notice I caught that before it got out. You are not supposed to say work, and I almost did, but in the tremendous service which they are rendering without salary, and yet, how great and almighty has been their blessing. Do you not see when you serve the light, you must know it is only a short way until your very service to that light compels the light to turn and begin to serve you? Oh, my dear ones, don't think you are ever forgotten or passed by for a single moment by the presence of life. It is beating your hearts every moment, supplying you with energy, and your higher mental bodies know everything which is going on here and all of your requirements. As soon as you change to the outpouring of divine love and blessing upon all persons, places, conditions, and appearances, even though you know those appearances must be corrected, still pour out divine love and blessing, all will change to assist you. Call the power of the presence to sweep its mighty light rays into the condition and dissolve the imperfection there. Then keep your feelings harmonious, and the mighty activity of the light goes on in its magnificent splendor, in a way no other one thing will permit. You are so rapidly coming to that point wherein nothing will induce you to allow one particle of energy to be wasted on criticism, condemnation, or any of those things which exist in the world generally. You, my dear precious ones, must be an example to the rest of the world. I want tonight to impress upon you so much, that as the vanguard of the light, you must be the example to the rest of the world. If they see you doing things which are unbecoming, such as the rest of mankind are doing because they do not understand, they will say, what is the use of us trying to understand that mighty I am, if they go on doing the same things? You see, that is why all of the I am students are an example to the world. There have been a few individuals, just a few in different parts of America, who accepted the statement that the messengers were millionaires and did not need any money, and all that kind of thing. Then those few individuals sought a means whereby they could make excuses to get money from the messengers. In a few instances that has been done, and I trust that never once again will another student enter into such a dangerous condition. These messengers are giving all, reserving not a thing for themselves. Then, when anyone who could want to find an excuse or try to prey upon them to get money, oh, it is tragic. Those individuals cannot harm the messengers, of course, but they will build up for themselves such privation as they have never known in any embodiment. So I prompt you tonight, so that you may be able to put down those things. Just now, do you feel that great, great stillness? Let it do its perfect work, for the inner power of the light now goes into action. Let us be just perfectly still. Please don't cross your feet. Just let that great perfecting radiance flow through your bodies and your feeling worlds, and remember that under you is the violet consuming flame, into which all imperfection is drawn. It is lovely. So beautiful. Now then, feel the replacing of that by the Ascended Master's substance of light charged through your higher mental body into your physical body, into your feeling world and activity to hold its mighty dominion there, for the power of your application, for the power of your courage and strength, and for the power of the release from your treasure house of the money supply you require, and always 10 times more on hand than you require for immediate use. Splendid. Oh, I congratulate you. Thank you with all my heart, and may I say for your encouragement that never in our experience has so complete a change taken place in such a few minutes, in the releasing of imperfection into the violet consuming flame so it exists no more. Then it has been replaced by the Ascended Master's light substance which you have accepted in a magnificent manner. I think you perhaps have come to notice that when we or the messengers call your attention to that great stillness, it is the signal for the almighty action of the inner power, and it is so far-reaching. Tonight, I have especially directed that inner power to go out into your world of action and harmonize, keep dissolved and consumed every discordant thing before you. Will you hold these next few words very clear and definite in your minds? As you go forth now in your application, you will feel a power of release which is tremendous. You will find yourselves so much less affected by discordant things about you. Now as the third activity of this trinity of action, please listen, every one of you, very carefully. Of course there are only a few who have been disturbed by this. You will remember an activity was released in the class to keep you invincibly protected against entities. Tonight, I recharge that activity into its full power and dominion for your invincible protection, so no entity is able to reach you or act in your feeling world, your mental world, or your physical body. Not one of you blessed ones will be disturbed again. Now, if there has been a momentum gained by some disturbance, do not let it come back into action. I want to tell you something tonight which has never been mentioned in the classes. I want you to know it tonight, because I want you to be absolutely invincible against this thing. Now, I am speaking to the few who have had what they consider great disturbance about them. Do you know that disturbance first went into action through the dream state, and you found yourselves doing certain physical action with your own hands, but did not know it? You thought it was entities. In that semi-conscious state, you were not awake enough to know that your hands were in motion, but you did the thing yourselves with your own physical bodies through the dream, which had been in action, and you awakened from that dream, feeling it was an entity, when the entities did not have anything to do with it. That is how you can hypnotize yourselves into a belief which would eventually open you to entities. I want you all to feel this tonight, because it will be an amazing invincible power of action for your protection. I watched 3 different conditions during the shrine class where this took place, and the activity really took place by the individual's own actions, before they fully awakened and, under the feeling that it was some entity, gave the entity credit for it, when in reality it was that which they had acted out through the dream state. This will give you great, great release. So at any time when something might occur which would call your attention to that experience, just simply say, I refuse acceptance of that. No entity has any power to touch, reach, or act within my feeling world. Stand adamant on that, and you will find you will just dismiss every discordant thing. My dear ones, please feel tonight with all the power of your mighty I Am presence, that no entity has any power to attach itself to your world and stay there, if you do not want it. By the power of your own life, you can command it to release and be gone. It has to do it, because it is the law. You are master of yourself and your world, but if you continue to accept in your belief that entities have power to reach you, then you might find disturbance, but it would be largely through your own belief, which gives power through your attention to those unfortunate creatures. Again, let us apply the law of the mighty I Am presence. That which I have described above is the same explanation, the same condition as if you feed your life into a discordant appearance by your attention, and through your attention, it comes back and finds action in your world. Then if you give your attention through the belief that entities are around or disturbing you, don't you see, you would give them power to act. Of course they are around all humanity, and I mean by that, they are in the atmosphere of the earth, but they do not necessarily have to be in your world or find action there. You are at a point now where you need to understand this, then you will dismiss many things just like that, which have been disturbing you in the past. You know, beloved ones, belief with many people is a tremendous power. If you believe a thing, you make it act whether it is true or not. This has much to do with projection to you by individuals, and heaven knows plenty of it has been done in the past 6 months, I mean really. But still that same thing has no power to reach or touch you, if you do not believe it or accept it. Now there is more than a belief or acceptance in the understanding of your mighty I Am presence. It is the command of life that the disturbing things cease, then you have transcended belief entirely. Belief is the open door to the things you do not want, as well as the things you do want. Therefore, govern and control those qualities of action, so they produce perfection for you. Don't mind if you yawn, because you have had great relaxation. I do not mind it. Oh, not so far hence, when you have reached home and we discuss this meeting, for instance, tonight, and you see all that actually took place, you will rejoice greatly. It is a great delight, beloved ones, oh, so very wonderful, in our earnest endeavor to be instrumental in rendering you an assistance of this kind, and from time to time giving our assistance which we know is a permanent thing in your life. It is just beautiful, that is certain. In the full power of your acceptance tonight, it will make our assistance a mighty action. You know I might add a codicil to Lotus' statement, mighty I Am presence, make me perfect, mighty I Am presence, make me victorious. My dear ones, please realize how sometimes those short dynamic, I am, statements produce such magnificent results. Now remember, through all of us who have charged a quality of ourselves into your feeling world, that moment you became a part of us. Do you see? Now since my outpouring is my power and quality, one of the activities of my being victory, it also makes you my victory. Mighty I Am presence, make me victorious, do you know what it does when you really say that with feeling? It is just like you opened the door to me, and said, victory, pour in some more, and I say to you, delighted, here it is. How literally true that is. I tell you, dear ones, as you become more and more certain, more and more aware in your feeling that these qualities we are talking about are no imagination, then you will begin to realize that steadily and surely we are lifting you daily into God's glorious final victory of life. I rejoice with you so much in your ability to accept these blessings which are offered, for they are much greater than the words sound. In your acceptance of them, it allows us to continue to pour to you any requirement which may be needed, and so that mighty activity goes on and on. Remember, it will never cease, beloved ones, as long as you continue to give your attention to the I Am presence of life. It can never cease. When you touch this stream of life, you have started the mightiest action in the universe into action in your individual world, in your bodies. Beloved ones, tonight, while you are standing, accept the absolute invincible power of perfect health. Say, mighty I Am presence, charge me with your perfect health and sustain it. Just silently make that call, mighty I Am presence, charge me with your perfect health and sustain it. Mighty I Am presence, charge me with your perfect health and sustain it. Something else is brought to my attention. Do you quite realize you sometimes should make a call for a specific quality? As you generally call, mighty I Am presence, release your mighty currents of energy, that is a marvelous general activity. But suppose there has been disturbance in your body, distress or something of that kind occurring to your outer activities. You would naturally need to qualify your call with a mighty healing current, because you have been taught to believe that whatever relieves pain is healing power. Do you quite understand what I mean? By using the power of qualification, mighty I am presence, charge me with your perfect health. It means you replace all disturbing conditions in the body with the power and energy of the I am presence, which is wholly sustained perfect health. This is a magnificent thing. Then, as you use that daily, you will absolutely prevent, through suggestion or contact in the feeling world, any condition beginning to act in your world in the future which would cause disturbance. Won't you be seated? That is why, beloved ones, as you stand guard over the simple activities, they become majestically all-powerful in their action. That is why these things are built and built in your world. It is why I have given you these statements tonight, because you have built your momentum to this point where these constant dynamic calls will release more than hours and hours of application did, even a year ago. You will find, you will soon come into an activity where you just make a few dynamic calls. I mean, so far as your individual activity is concerned, then you go on about your business. You come back to your application again and make a few more dynamic decrees, and you will be amazed at the astonishing results which will come. Now you see how the letters to which we have referred give you evidence of how in so many instances, individuals had sought the best attorneys, and they had sought all outer aid to no avail, but when they put that all down, and turned to the I am presence of life, called it into action, and those mighty light rays went forth, the change took place in the feeling world of the individual, and the results followed. I want you to see tonight how magnificent it is, because outer activities so often set up resistance, resentment and determination not to do the thing, while the power of light goes forth and acts in the feeling world of the individual, and creates the desire for divine justice and divine order. You see how much more powerful it is. Oh, we have seen so many who had been so disappointed, and then turned to the mighty I am presence, and have had such magnificent results, showing that after all, the power of the presence of life is supreme when once mankind gives back to it the full power which belongs to it. By turning away from the outer things, then will individuals have the full power of action and gain the release into that almighty, glorious victory. I am sure you see that as never before, tonight. So just set it into action with all the firm determination of your being, and remember, through your feeling of determination, there comes the firmness of the presence into action, which must produce the exact result you desire. I thank you and love you and bless you forever, and I bring to you the greetings, the love, and the blessings of the great host of light who are ministering in this I am activity. There are those in the audience tonight who have wished to do a definite powerful work, and the great host have focused their mighty, mighty power to bless you. In your full acceptance of their outpouring, will you see its outpicturing? Remember, victory is your friend. March 20th, 19